quilts and the art of quilting have been enjoyed for generations. Hyderhangout, Quilt Fabric and More in downtown Cleveland is all things quilts and much more. Hyderhangout stocks a vast selection of beautiful fabrics from upholstery to evening wear and will special order hard-to-find items. Find all the accessories to make any project fun and easy. Hyderhangout offers expert instruction with classes for the beginner and the advanced. Ready to show your style? Get to Hyderhangout, Quilt Fabric and More, 219 First Street Northeast, downtown Cleveland.
Hyderhangout, Quilts, Fabric and More.
Yes.
That's a pretty cool store.
I love it.
Do you?
Yeah. It's
Do you
my
spend
home
any
away from
time
home.
there?
I hang out there probably more than home.
Hence the name, right?
Right.
The Hyderhangout.
No, actually, other people come in and hang out.
How you doing this morning, Susan?
Good. We had a wonderful beginning quilting class yesterday.
Did you?
Yes, we had 8 students.
What makes for a wonderful class?
Everybody that's excited and they listen and they did a wonderful job, even though they're brand new to, some of them were brand new to sewing. I mean, they've sewed a little bit on a sewing machine, but we have 3 homeschoolers and 3 adults and
Ask lots of questions.
yeah, and did the projects and did them well. It was fun.
Good.
Maybe sometime in at the end we can get a couple of them to come in and show what they did and what they learned.
That'd be great.
That'd be
have,
fun.
Especially some of the. I'd like to see and hear from people that it was their first time.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to hear from somebody like you, who's a pro, or somebody that's been. I took a class a year or so ago, and I've got pretty proficient at it.
Yeah.
But I like to hear from the people that this is their first time, because it's more like a true what people can expect. Other
Right.
people out there watching, going, I don't know, and you
I
hear
don't
from
know if
that.
I can. Yeah, well,
hear from that rookie,
yeah.
and they're like, oh, it's great. Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember how young the youngest one, I think, is 11 or 12, 13 maybe, and then 2 older girls. So, yeah. But they did wonderful. It was fun.
Awesome. Glad to hear that was going is going to be going well. So, what do you got for us today?
Okay, we said we're going to do patterns.
Patterns.
And since our Jay is in Florida.
Jay's not with us today, so
So
he's
we
going
won't
to
have close-ups, but I'm going
may
to
be
give some
watching
ideas
online.
of how you can find patterns and how they come. This is a little single pattern. It's just a little page, and it's it's a nice little booklet. It's a hard. I don't know what you call this kind of cardboard with the coating on it, but it's really, really nice. And and these are just $4, so you could just get this, and this one you could make a whole bunch of different ways.
Can I see that real quick?
Then there's this here. Let me give you that one. That one would be a very easy beginner one.
So when you say it's a pattern, this is just a
This
pamphlet.
tells
So
you
what does this tell us?
What materials you need,
Okay.
how to cut them out.
Oh, so that is the pattern on
That
the
is
front.
what you will make.
And then inside
it
tells you what you need to have
what you
that.
need to make that. Yes.
And it gives you dimensions and things like that.
Oh, yes. You'll cut however many pieces, this size, and this size, and
Because when you said pattern, I was thinking it was going to be like those,
templates.
yeah, like those paper things, not wax paper, but I forgot what it's called. And like when you see them in seamstress's place, and they've got the dotted lines. And
Right. Those are different pattern, and those are dressmaker patterns, and we'll go over those sometime.
Okay, but for a quilt,
But for quilt, you have, and they have on there. We'll be able to see it better.
And-
I'm gonna pull this other one out.
Okay.
And we'll be able to see this one better. This is a famous television personality, Eleanor Burns, and I have a lot of her rulers and her patterns.
okay, so she's
This is a
not
little-
only a pro, but she also has
Oh, she's
tools that she
known
sells.
all over the world too. It comes in a little bag, and it's a booklet, but it's a pattern for this quilt, and this is what she calls tossed 9-patch. Some people call it disappearing 9-patch, and it's got on the back here different sizes and how much of each size you need of whatever fabrics. And this up in the corner on her pattern say if whether it's a easy or intermediate or whatever.
That was my next question. How would you know where those?
This says easy on here.
Okay.
Some of these others you would just have to ask somebody in the quilt shop, do you think I could do it? I always tell a beginner if they fall in love with something and they absolutely love it, then they can do it, even if it's something that I would say, well, I wouldn't do that the first quilt.
I would compare that to someone learning the piano or a guitar, and they have a favorite song, and
Right.
that song is actually kind of a skilled song,
Right.
but they just want to know that song, and so
Right.
they practice that song. Meanwhile, they're learning how to play guitar.
Right.
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 And that would be the same thing with quilting. Even if they found a pattern that they really like, but it's a medium or a harder pattern,
Right.
you're saying give it some time, and you'll be
We
proficient.
can help you with any of them, but I won't discourage anybody. I'll say, well, this is a little complicated, but if you love it, if somebody finds a pattern online and they love it and they absolutely have to do it, we can work through and help them do it.
Sure, and I'm sure you tell them to don't get discouraged if you can't pull that off immediately, but
Right.
through learning some tips and tricks,
Right.
you're going to
Oh yeah, there's tips and tricks, and people come in and then I say, well, you can do it this way and this way, and I don't say what you did was wrong, which is not. There's no wrong, but there's tips and tricks, and you can do it a certain way, and
Nice.
yeah. Anyway, this one, and then it has the picture on the front, and then you open it up, and
Like
there,
a puzzle
there
box.
again
That's what you got to
is
look for.
the quantities and the sizes. And then you go over here and it starts telling you how to put it together. And you can read step by step. And if you're a good reader, you could probably talk yourself through it. It shows you here how to do, and then you put them all together. And then you go over here and it shows you how to cut right here. So this is a pattern booklet. And it's
Can I see that one?
yeah,
You can show us.
and
another
that's a pieced one. And
Eleanor
the
Burns.
pieced ones are usually the more simple. This is an applique one. So these you cut out, and it's actually a combination because you piece the watermelon rind is pieced, and then you applique the thing on.
one. So it's laying on top of that
Right.
top layer?
Right.
Okay.
And then you have the curly Q on them.
Some of those quilts with appliques, they'll leave like certain edges of them up to give it more of a dimensional look.
It's up to the artist.
Right.
And see, this is a wall hanging or a table runner.
Okay.
And they tell you on the pattern. And then this one here, it says it's an easy. I would say if you were choosing between the two, I would do it that one that you have first, because this is easy for an applique. But it's a little bit more complicated than.
Now you said that tossed 9 was also called a disappearing 9. What does that mean?
Disappearing 9 patch was the original traditional name, and when she made hers, what it is you have a 9 patch, which is this right here, 9 patches, and that's a traditional 9 patch block. When you cut it in half 2 directions and flip your squares, then you end up with another pattern here, and the 9 patch pretty much disappeared. You can't see that it's a 9 patch anymore.
Okay.
And the thing I like
But
about
it's
this
still a simple
particular
9
pattern,
patch.
right?
Yep.
It's very simple. Some people look at it, and if they're not a quilter, you look at it, and somebody made it, and they go, "Wow, look at all those small."
Yeah, let me see that one more time. Thank you. Oh, I get it. So you're pulling off different sections of that 9 patch to make it seem like it's a way more complicated quilt
Yes, and it's very simple.
with the folds and the stitching.
Yes.
I see. That's pretty.
Okay, and then we have magazines, and this is one of the magazines, Quilts and More, and it's by the Better Homes and Garden, American Patchwork and Quilting, and these come out. This Quilts and More comes out quarterly, and then there's one that comes out every 2 months. That's just the American Patchwork and Quilting one, and they have on the front. Usually, this one will have some small things here, and then you have your big quilt, and then there's others inside.
When you said American Patchwork and Quilting, is that kind of an American thing? Because I'm trying to think about in early European, was this a style of?
Oh, American Patchwork and Quilting is a particular company.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
I didn't know because
Meredith
I'm thinking
Company makes some magazines, but they make some other magazines besides Meredith, and then it's Better Homes and Garden.
No, what I was going going with that question was, did this come along from like early Appalachia? Are they the ones who kind of figured out quilting and started making it more commonplace, or was it before that?
Well, there was a different style in Appalachia,
Okay.
but quilts originated actually in Egypt.
Okay.
Way back.
Right.
But there was the Europeans, and they did a lot of the silks and the satins and the velvets and stuff. And then there was a lot. There's a traditional type of quilting in Appalachia and American. So there is a American style, and then actually Australian style and European style. So
Okay.
there is kind of a
So we've kind of got our little niche here.
Right.
Okay.
right.
Well, sorry, I digressed there. But go
But
ahead.
that's okay. That's a good question. And see, these have different. It's got the table of contents. If I can do this backwards here, see, it's got a table of contents, and they usually have like a small thing like a pillow, which is good for. And then down here, purses are like crazy right now for people making them. And then you'll go table of contents, and you'll turn and you'll go to your pattern, and here's the one that was on the cover.
So in these
and it
magazines,
tells you-
I was going to say, are they like the patterns where it gives you all the recipe in the magazine?
In the magazine.
Okay.
So you get a good variety, and see it here. It's got and tells you how much to cut, and it also, this particular company gives you a. If I don't know if I'm that far. One more page.
I would imagine you have an extensive library of past issues of this magazine.
I have
too.
them, and the thing is, sometimes people online are searching for a particular issue.
Right.
I had a teacher that was looking for one and could not believe that I had enough for her class. She's like, "You really have that many?" And I said, "Yeah, that particular one didn't sell a whole lot in the store, but she was able to get enough for her class." And she was like so excited. And I don't have every month because there's a few that totally sold out, but I do have just about all through 2011.
So if someone's looking for a certain one, they can go
Right.
back and find that volume probably with your library.
And I have older magazines too that we have a trade 2-for-1.
Okay.
So somebody brings 2 magazines in, they can go into the rack that trade for 2-for-1 and get it one.
A little
and-
exchange.
Yeah. And those are older issues, and sometimes they're things that you're looking for. The other thing that I think is really neat is this is the same company, and this is a calendar, and I still have some of these left, and I know we're all in March, but they're discounted down to about half off now. But they have, this is a gorgeous quilt, this one here, and they have 12 different quilts with the
12 different
how-to in
patterns.
it. There's a little booklet inside here that's got the how-to for each one of these.
So
this one's
potentially
really
you could make a
cool.
quilt a month. Like you could get the
You can
top
get-
if
right.
you're really good at it, and then
If
you
you're really
take it
good
in
at
and get it
there's
have
actually
someone else.
people I know that make about one a week. So,
Yeah,
but
well,
I'm running a business.
Especially
and I
if you're
go-
trying to do the quilts of valor, that's a good little
Yes.
challenge.
yes.
So
So there's that, and those and commercial. These are discounted, and if you see it on
Yep.
here, I'll give you even a little bit more off if you come and say, "Hey, I saw it
you
on
heard
TV."
it right there. There's a Hyderhangout. The 2017 quilt calendar
Right.
is still available, 50% off or more.
Or more. If you mention this, it'll be more. Okay, this is a book, and this particular one is by Better Homes and Gardens, and it's got 501 quilt blocks.
In
Now,
case you want to do a quilt and a half a day, you can use this book.
Yeah, but see, it's got 500 different blocks. This is a little bit
Oh, okay.
less in depth, but it shows you the different ones, see?
Uh-huh.
And there's 501 in here. And if you're a little bit skilled, you can get in here and you could get it and figure them out
What's
or
the,
get help. These are what they call
What's the name of that book?
501 quilt blocks.
There you go. Simple.
Simple. And they show you how to do applique and patchwork. Patchwork is what we say pieced.
And that'd be good if you want to do a quilt, the traditional repeating pattern. You can get a block out of there and just
Right.
repeat that
or,
pattern.
like they show on the back, a sampler that has a whole bunch of different ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a sampler, where a sampler means that you got one of each of,
Yep.
whatever many blocks you got on your quilt.
Okay.
So this one's a really neat book, and this is an older out of print, but we do carry some out of print books.
Okay.
So if there's a particular thing you're looking for, and I've had some people call, you really have this book, or there's lots of books out there, but we have a lot.
And you got one more over there. What's that one?
After we got 3 more, but this one I'm gonna leave to last. It's kind of like we call the Bible. This is one. Remember we were talking about T-shirts?
Yep.
This is a book that Patchwork Place, Martingale. They have themed books, and they're 60, 70 pages. This particular one shows you a bunch of different ways to do your T-shirt quilts. So the title of it is Terrific T-shirt Quilts, and they show you how to do not just plain old, but different ways. See, here's a interesting way to do that. So this is like a themed book. This one's themed. This is an older, and this is a traditional Sunbonnet Sue, but that it also has a year in the life of Sunbonnet Sue, and it's got, you can either do
a year in the life. What's Sunbonnet Sue do all year?
Yeah, Sunbonnet Sue. Let me see. She goes to the beach. She goes skiing. She goes barbecue. But
she's got a pretty fun life.
Sunbonnet Sue is a traditional pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And they just took it and they're doing the different months.
Different themes and different.
And put her in.
But they all have Sunbonnet Sue.
These are actually once a month wall hangers that you could use.
Okay.
Or you could combine them and put them into a quilt. But that shows you can either do small quilts, small project, get it done real quick and have it, or you could do them all and put them into a big quilt.
Okay.
So that's pretty much anything you want, we could figure it out for you.
I bet.
This is Maggie Malone, and this is kind of what we call the Bible quilt block designs, and you see how many it says on there.
Yeah.
Okay. They have sections. Of course, they have the index in the back, but most of these are traditional patterns. And the thing is there's some that are called, they're pretty close to the same. See how this row right up here?
Yep.
They look very similar, but a little bit different, and they have similar names or not so similar names. So some of the traditional patterns, depending on where they were done in the country or what little difference was put on there, they'll change the name a little bit. Just like we saw with the Eleanor Burns, she calls it Tossed Nine Patch. The traditional name was Disappearing Nine Patch.
Mm-hmm.
So these in here, and this is somebody will come in and say, well, can I figure out what pattern this is? Because some people, have older quilts and they want to know what pattern it is or what the name is.
Okay, so it's like a glossary of.
Yes, and I have this. I actually can still order these. These are I think they're still they're out of print. I can still order these. I especially ordered this particular one for a girl last month.
And do you
I have one
Okay.
in my library for reference.
Right.
So you can come in and say, well,
And you could probably find a copy for someone else if they needed to.
I can find a copy for somebody else.
So I just
the last time I looked,
I did the math here. So if you wanted to do all those in a year, you'd have to do 15 blocks a day.
In a year?
Yeah, and you could do 5,500 blocks.
Okay.
Just
I think
in
somebody
case.
could do that if they weren't cooking or okay, like for instance here we talked about the 9 patch, and these are all 9 patches. So they have 3 across and 3 down.
Mm-hmm.
And the block is made up of pieces. So this is a block, they're all different blocks, but they're made up with pieces or patches. So these are all 9 patches.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's
Pretty soon we'll have you and Jay all ready to do a
You have
quilt.
an extensive library of knowledge. We already knew that, but now specifically about quilts and blocks.
Right.
If you have a question about any pattern or any
If
style,
I can't find out, I'll put it out there.
if you
try to
don't
figure
know it
out.
already, you'll find
figure
it.
We'll research it. Yeah.
Yeah. So all this information is available at Hyderhangout,
Right.
and half the knowledge in those books is up there in Susan's head already.
I don't know about
So
half.
You gotta
I know
come
where
in
to find it. That's the
Right.
key, right?
So again, if you have questions about quilting or you need anything related to quilting and other sewing things as well, then you're the place to go to, right?
Right.
Where's Hyder Hangout located?
219 First Street Northeast, down from the across from the museum, next to the bike shop, Trailhead Bike Shop, behind Catch, behind Billiard Club. Put your husband in the billiard club and come and Hyder Hangout.
There you go.
Especially tomorrow evening, we have Quilt Till You Wilt tomorrow evening. So we'll be there till whenever.
Tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, Quilt Till You Wilt.
First
Go
Saturday
and-
of the month.
Go and knock out a project or learn something new or help
Or
with
work
somebody
on
else.
Quilts of Valor.
Yep, Quilts of Valor.
Right.
All right, Susan. Thanks for coming by today.
All right. Thank you.
And we appreciate it always. Anything else? Let's see. Quilt Till You Wilt. Anything else coming up?
Well, we have the regular clubs. We're trying to get a evening beginning quilting class. So if you're interested, call us and we're going to see if we can fit it in somewhere.
And you just started a brand new quilting class, and
It's a Thursday morning one.
Thursday morning, and there's already been one class that's met, but that's not a problem if somebody wants to join that class.
As long as they come before the second class, which is 2 weeks from yesterday.
Yep, you got one
So-
more chance to join that particular class if it
Right.
works for you.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we thank you again for coming in.
So you're going to join it?
Thursday mornings are a little bit difficult for me.
We'll just put you in the evening class.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Quilting have been enjoyed for generations. Hyder Hangout, Quilt Fabric and More in downtown Cleveland is all things quilts and much more. Hyder Hangout stocks a vast selection of beautiful fabrics from upholstery to evening wear and will special order hard-to-find items. Find all the accessories to make any project fun and easy. Hyder Hangout offers expert instruction with classes for the beginner and the advanced. Ready to show your style? Get to Hyder Hangout, Quilt Fabric and More, 219 First Street Northeast, downtown Cleveland.